Happy Mother's Day from the OG Bronc Nuts 719 West. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. Spent the day with my mom, had a little barbecue, had my family together. Some of the most fun times I ever have in life is when my family gets together just for lunch or dinner. It's a good time. But I got something on my mind that I want to talk to y'all about tonight. And it's a follow-up to a video that I made for you, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 months ago, about a mobile mining unit company called Envion, E-V-I-O-N. Abbreviation, I think, on the trading pair to Bitcoin would be EVN to BTC. I think it also trades against Ethereum. It's an ERC20 token that was on the Ethereum platform. It was the 6th largest ICO in history. It came out originally, I think, for the first crowd sale at 70 cents. After that, it raised to $1, which is where I bought it at. And since then, it's plummeted 70% all the way down to 30 cents a token. Now, I don't value Envion or any other token for that matter in dollars. I always value it in Bitcoin. And it has fallen against Bitcoin. And I think that it's a heck of a good buy right now. And here's why. This company, and the reason why I believe that this token took a fall is a multifaceted problem. The first one is that in their white paper, their business plan, the objective was to have, I believe it was 600 mobile mining units produced by July. As of right now, I think they've got under 10. There's a reason why that's happened, and the reason why it's happened is the CEO of the company, and this is not a coin, you're basically buying like stock in a company, except you're just using a token to do it. All of the tokens got sold in the crowd sale, and I think that a lot of people were out there just ICO buying fever, right? They were buying everything. They didn't research anything that they were buying, what was involved, what the rules were. They were just buying everything they could get their hands on. And a lot of investors who bought Envion, they paid with Ethereum. And if you did that, it was within the smart contract. So when the crowd sale was up, it was real easy to get your coins transferred over to your My Ethereum wallet or wherever you were going to store them. The second way was to purchase it with Bitcoin. Now, they made some stipulation that the people who bought with Bitcoin may be delayed up to a month getting their tokens, but I believe everyone who's paid with Bitcoin has pretty much gotten their tokens, or their Envion is still working through those problems. Then the third category was people got to pay with Visa or MasterCard. Now, I think that was always a bad idea, but they let them do it. The problem is that in the rules, what these people signed up for was that if you paid with Visa or MasterCard, you weren't going to be able to get access for your tokens for 6 months. Why? Because you can charge back. You can complain to Visa and MasterCard that Envion didn't do this, Envion didn't that. It wasn't, I didn't know what I was buying, And they're essentially most always going to side with the consumer because there's more consumers than there are merchants, and nobody, wants the consumers to have no trust in Visa and MasterCard that they've got their back. So it just creates a messy situation, and a lot of people are upset about that because now the coin's dropped on the exchange. By the way, this really only trades in volume on HitBTC, which is, some people say a lot of bad things about it. I've used HitBTC a lot. I've never had one issue. As a matter of fact, I can't say enough good things about HitBTC that have happened to me. I mean, all good things. If I could say one bad thing about it, the withdrawal fees are high. Okay, so it's 19 Envion just to make a withdrawal. It's like $20 if you bought it at the crowd sale, and 30 cents. It's still a lot of money to withdraw now. So make your withdrawals count. They also kind of went Envion, the company. They have a point man, basically a PR person that is relaying information and updates to everybody within their Telegram chat. His name is Laurent. I think. they went silent, didn't say a whole lot to the community for about 30 to 45 days, which is really not that unusual for a $100 million company. I mean, Rome wasn't built in a day, but then again, I wasn't the contractor, but I'd imagine that it's going to take a little bit of time to put these mobile mining units together and get them contracts to get them placed and get things turned on and get this to mine. But the real hang up has been there was a pretty extensive know your customer, the KYC, right, that you had to get involved in to even be able to purchase Envion. So it was a video conference call. There was a couple of different choices. The first one I tried didn't work at all. The second one I tried worked very well. It was very easy. It was very efficient. It was fast. I had to show pictures of copies of my passport, tilt it this way, upside down. They took pictures of everything to know who I was and what wallet I held. And since then, they've hired one of the top 2 or 3 largest auditing firms and well-known auditing firms in the world. And there's been some hang-ups with this audit that I think has a lot to do with people who, with Visa and MasterCard, probably some of the people who bought with Bitcoin, and the CEOs put the kibosh on any money being spent until we get this sorted out. Now, I believe Envion is going to get it sorted out, and I do think they're going to deliver. And if you think about it, they got $100 million in the crowd sale. And if they converted it all to cash, which they probably didn't, if they did, well, then their asset, their token, has fallen 70%, and you get to buy it at one heck of a discount. Now, if they didn't, or they only converted half of it to cash, they're in a little bit of a pinch because all of the cryptos have fallen, and now they don't have a $100,000 bankroll. Until, let's say, they're just sitting on the money waiting for the next Bitcoin or Ethereum run, and then now we're releasing the money. I really don't have a problem with any of this, but apparently what's been happening, and I've been monitoring, if you look in the Telegram chat, there's so many people, Envion's a scam, Envion's ripping you off, you haven't heard anything, and the fact of the matter is that we've heard a lot. We have had some communication. We haven't probably gotten all the questions that we want answered, but I think this thing is going to start producing. According to the company, they have the ability to start their ramp up their manufacturing chain of line of everything that they're going to need within, I think it was 72 hours. And I think they're going to be able to build these mobile mining units pretty fast. Now, if you go to their website, there's all kinds of videos on there, the ones they've already made, that apparently the CEO is financing with his own money just so that they could build prototypes. And since then, they've made them even better. So if you're unfamiliar with what Envion is, it's a shipping container that has a bunch of holes cut in it. And they put the exhaust, built racks on the inside, filled it full of mining rigs, put a intercooled system in there. And it's essentially plug and play. So you take this thing and put it on the back of a truck that's got a little crane on the back, and you drive it directly to the source of the energy. So now if you look at how mining is done today, let's say you have a mining operation and something changes with zoning codes or the city shuts you down. If you actually had to pick up your operation and move your mining farm somewhere else, it'd really be a logistical nightmare, not alone be expensive. And you're also in that situation not taking advantage of the cheapest electricity or energy that there is around because it's being sold to you where you're at and you're forced to pay that price. Now, according to Envion, there is lots of cheap energy around the world that is being harvested, but it's not being sold. And the reason why is because they can't get the power to somebody who's willing to buy it. So Envion has created these mining units to send it directly to the power source. They're plug and play units that you can stack on top of each other if you want more power. And the way this works is that for the Envion tokens that you bought, I think there was like 100 and some million. Some of them have been burned because people didn't claim their tokens or wanted refunds, so at least the company didn't keep it. Out of 100% of all of the mining profits, 91% of it goes to the shareholders, the investors who hold Envion token. Now, out of that 91%, 75% gets paid to you weekly in a dividend in the form of Ethereum. The other 25% 10% of that 91% gets automatically reinvested into the company and goes into the new mobile mining unit production pool. So I think to get out in front of this and see that cryptocurrencies are going to be a part of our future. And if that's the case, no matter where it is, you don't have to be right on Bitcoin. You don't have to be right on Ethereum or EOS or Steem or any token for that matter. What you have to be right on is blockchain. And I think we're all right on that. And if you're right on blockchain, then all you've got to do is make an investment into the nuts and bolts of how a blockchain works without investing in any one particular coin and hope that you got the next best one. Kind of the principle on, the people who got rich in the gold rush. There was some miners, but there's people who went bust too. But it was the people selling the pickaxes and the shovels and the sluice buckets and Levi jeans. The infrastructure to make all of that happen. So think about the infrastructure of the internet, the infrastructure of blockchain, and the infrastructure of the world, of what it looks like for the next 50, 100 years. And if you believe blockchain is part of that infrastructure, part of that equation, then there's going to have to be a lot of infrastructure and it's going to get competitive. So having a mobile mining unit that's easily changeable, upgradable, unpluggable, and plug-inable is an attractive thing to have. And for the company to split 91% of the profits going to the investors, and the corporate officers keeping 9%, and get paid weekly in a dividend right into your Ethereum wallet. I mean, look, these things are going to go out and look for an algorithm to tell what's the most efficient coin to mine, what's the most profitable, what's also the most liquid, can we sell it, can we dump it, and they're just going to change everything that they mine, all the shit coins, change them into Ethereum, and the Ethereum ends up in your wallet weekly based on how much Envion token you hold in relation to everyone else. Just like the number of shares you would have within a corporation. Believe me, the second Envion announces they're going to have a dividend payout, the liquidity on the exchanges is going to dry up. I mean bone dry like the Nevada desert. There won't be any Envion tokens for sale. Because the only way for you to get dividends is to move them into your wallet that's connected with the Envion contract. You can't have it in your wallet on the exchange. So why anybody who made this investment, there's not going to be any more new Envion coins because there's nothing that's mined. We are the miners. How are you going to get your profit? Who in their right mind is going to leave them on the exchange? You're going to move them in the wallet so they can get weekly dividends. And you guess what's going to happen? People are going to say, hey, I want to buy some Envion token too. And they put a price up that they're willing to pay, except nobody's biting. Nobody's moving their wallets back to their coins back to the exchange. And eventually, that price is going to go up and up and up, and we have true price discovery. And sooner or later, somebody's going to weaken and say, yeah, I'm willing to take less of this pool and sell it. Sell the token to somebody else. Now, what's the price going to be when that happens? That's the question, right? Well, I'm a personal belief that I think as soon as they actually have a payout, the token will go to $2 like that. So if you can buy something that's 30 cents right now, that with a legitimate company that I think is going to be able to deliver everything that they've promised us and more because the price of mining rig equipment has gone down during this little snafu, you're taking a very good calculated risk of buying an asset that's very undervalued for an equation that had already been figured out from the beginning based on how many tokens there were in the ICO. Now, Envion was touting 161% yearly ROI. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a mathematician to know if that's even possible, but I'm sure that it's possible. I don't know. I mean, things change in the crypto world so fast. Who knows if it's realistic? But let's say that they're wrong and it's only 50% return on ROI. I mean, where are you getting 50% APR, return on your investment, a year right now? Nowhere. Nowhere. So I think it's something that you need to look at, because not only could the price go to $2 and your equity in Envion would shoot up through the roof and give you a 5-bagger, then you would also be eligible for all those mining rewards every 7 days. That's an attractive thing that very little coins out there can give you. Now, there's some competitors to Envion, but not ones that are devalued 70% versus the cash that they have. Now, this is not financial advice or investment advice, because the reality is I could care less whether any of you buy on Envion or not. I'm still buying. I'm not even nervous a little bit. Not even a little bit. I'm happy all of the FUD is happening inside the Telegram channel, shaking off all the weak hands, because I'm there collecting a whole bunch of cheap coins and increasing my stake on a number that was already figured out from the beginning. There's no more coins. I just think it's an opportunity that if you look into the future and see that the future is going to require a lot of hash power, a lot of mining rig upgrades, a lot of mobile ability to get rigs to the most efficient power sources that are available all over the world. I mean, these things are built in shipping containers, people. You can just put them on a boat and send them halfway across the world. You can load them on one single flatbed truck with a crane on it and drive it right to the source and drop it off exactly where they want. I think that's going to be attractive. Somebody that's got cheap energy to sell. Think about it. As these algorithms get harder and the difficulty gets harder on Bitcoin, Litecoin, all of them, there's going to be serious competition and mining power. Think about, translate that to gold, how they used to mine gold, and the explosion that happened and the conglomeration of where Barrick Gold has now formed. You know, one of the largest gold miners in the world. I think you're getting into something that on the ground floor, a first mover opportunity at a 70% discount. I don't know how you can ignore it. Do yourself a favor and just go to Envion's website. I think it's envion.org. And watch. They've got 3 or 4 videos on there that are, I don't know, 3-4 minutes apiece. There's a video there from the CEO. All of them are entertaining. All of them are very interesting. At least learn about what you're saying no to. Because you can buy something 70% off right now, and they already have the money. They got the money in the crowd sale because it ended a few months ago, and since then the price of cryptos have dropped. And Envion's dropped a lot against Bitcoin and against Ethereum because of some snafus that are taking place to make sure that this is legit. I mean, look, I think this company's in Germany or Switzerland, and they're abiding by, you know, the top rules and regulations of the SEC. They're doing this legit. Because the SEC is looking into everything, whether it's a security, a utility token, whether it's currency. I mean, what are we dealing with here? Well, there's no doubt about what we're dealing with Envion. So they're taking all the precautions, all the steps, so that when we finally are cleared, when the CEO of this company says, here's the money, I'm going to go release it, go make it happen, we don't have to worry about it being wrong, worried about it being taken down. I don't want some little 23-year-old computer nerd wearing flip-flops, a tank top, and a cowboy hat who knows how to program just say, well, release this ICO and let's go make some money. I want it done right. This COG Bronknuts 719 West. You better find out about some crypto mining, because I think it's worth you getting in this game, because you don't have to worry about which coin is going to make its way to the top, because you're going to get paid mining all of them. I'm out. See you tomorrow, suckers!